All right, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to make another so-called quick video, um, and it's something that I guess needs to be addressed, and I don't see a lot of people talking about it. And in the end, I was totally unaware of it when I bought this car. Long story short, I had a truck for a while, a mid-sized truck. I wasn't a big truck guy. I wanted just a mid-sized truck. I was racing motocross and needed to take my motocross bike to the track and mountain bike and haul stuff around. And I had that for maybe 3 or 4 years, and I kind of got out of performance cars, and then got into the truck. And then I kind of sold my bike because I fractured my spine and got out of the truck market. And then I wanted to get kind of back into, a quick little car. And so this is where I ended up going to Infiniti. And I didn't know much about the Infiniti cars when the Q50 Q60, I knew nothing. I just went over there because they were associated with Nissan. And I have good credit with Nissan. So I went in there and I just fell in love with this car. It was on the showroom floor and it just came in. It was their brand new 19 Signature Edition, middle of the year product release. And so I ended up buying that car on the spot. So with that said, I didn't know much about it. I knew it was twin turbo V6. It was relatively fast. It was definitely a gorgeous looking car. I mean, leather interior. It looked like $1 million. I loved it, and I fell in love with it. And I bought it, but I wasn't aware that it had a open differential. My GTs and some of my Camaros and everything in the 80s and the 90s had probably limited slip differentials. They both rear tires got traction in those cars, and so I just kind of assumed most cars that are decently quick these days should have at least that kind of differential in the back, but I was wrong. So it's an open diff. So with a little bit of research and finding out what an open diff does, I mean, there's our problem. So here's the key with the 300 horsepower version, the non-red sport. I played around with off the line starts on good concrete, and I didn't really have a problem. It seemed to get traction and not breaking one wheel loose and then spinning that wheel with the traction and no traction and it seemed to put the power down pretty good. A little bit of chirp, 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 chirp. I've got a video here that I can show where I did this just for fun, in a good parking lot.
It's definitely.
Let me see here. Let me get to the part where, I boost brake it and then get 100% on the throttle.
Much it squeaked.
So it's getting traction, and so that was the 300 horsepower version. So the VDC, the vehicle dynamic control, with the ABS brakes in that car, it can handle that. That design functions. 300 horsepower to the wheels, because that's what these cars make to the wheels. The VR30, they legitimately make 300 horsepower to the wheels. So I don't think it was an issue. And I bought, just to address, I bought new tires. I bought some Pirelli P0 Neros, which are a good all-around pure summer tire. I wasn't looking to spend, a certain amount of money, through $300. I think I got these through Discount Tire or Tire Rack here for ordered them for $153 a piece. So I was about $650 with install, and they're good tires. Back to the open diff on the car with a 300. Now with the 400 Red Sport, it's got to start to be an issue. I don't have the Red Sport, and I haven't driven a Red Sport, so I would imagine what it has about another 75 horsepower to the wheels. So there's going to be some issues with a rear wheel drive. with traction, but I think they come with a slightly wider tire. I don't know, it's probably not going to help much, but when you dump 500 horsepower, but it's not at the wheel. So let's say 430, 440, 450 to the rear wheels on this car on a rear wheel drive. The VDC just gets the vehicle dynamic control just gets overwhelmed. And most people probably aren't thinking this when they buy this, but a lot of people, will be, are roll racers, or that's just what they do. I mean, there seems to be in these younger generations. I'm 50. I'm going to be turning 50 here shortly. So people in their 20s and their 30s, they kind of do things a little bit different. Where I was always playing with friends and racing and seeing who's got the faster car for fun, not endangering lives. But when Dallas, in the '80s and '90s, it wasn't quite so crowded. We raced a lot. We all had 5.0s and different cars and Camaros and Corvettes, V8s, and so um, you know. But now, it's just completely different. When you put that amount of horsepower to this open diff, the ABS brakes in the computer system trying to apply the brakes to one tire, the tire that's spinning, that's getting all the power is the one that's spinning, and it spins really really fast, as you'll see in this video. I had just gotten my tune in my car, and so I was the 434 horsepower, and we'll look at a couple of scenarios as you'll kind of look. Um, it's a semi-warm day, and I've got the tires warm, and I'm on decent concrete. It's not a slippery asphalt or a shiny surface. It's an actual concrete, and I am not flooring the car. I mean, putting the pedal to the floor and just letting it go. I am trying to lift off the pedal to get some traction so that the RPMs, as you'll see, climb so fast. It hits about 2,500, 3,000 RPMs, and the boost kicks in with 500 foot-pounds of torque, and it just roasts the tires. And so, I mean, and it climbs so quickly that VDC, the vehicle dynamic control, applying the brakes, doesn't even probably have time to do that. And then it's shifting to second to third, and then every time it shifts, then you're just breaking the wheels again, and then the RPMs just spin up to 7,000 RPMs. You got to be really really quick on the shifter. I mean, or this car is going to over rev into overboost, or up into the red on the RPM. So let's just take a look at this. And I wasn't aware of this when I bought this car, so I had no clue. I wasn't even thinking about it. So it's an issue if you want to put the power to the ground and enjoy your power. I had no idea when I got this tune that I was going to be dealing with this shortcoming. I still love the car, and it's still a lot of fun. And it's just you have to treat it a whole lot different. And no one's talking about this really on any of the Q50, popularity, the popular folks that are producing content. Either they have all-wheel drives, and even that is a downfall because they have an open diff in the all-wheel drive, and that's a whole another issue. So you do have an extra front tire that's getting the power, but from what I think I know, it's still using the vehicle dynamic control to lock up the front tires to distribute the power to both of the front tires and the rear. So you're probably getting one rear spinning and one front spinning until the brakes can kick in and try to distribute the power to the opposite side and give you a little bit more 50-50, power to all four wheels. My tuner was telling me that, with these cars with the boost kicking in like that, that you need to shift really quickly. You don't rev it out to 7,000 RPMs. You try to shift that as quickly as you can to manage wheel spin, and then get into the next gear so that you can start to gain traction, because it's going to jump in at a lower RPM, and therefore it's not going to carry the same amount of boost into the next gear. So it's not going to necessarily spin the wheels into the next gear. So that's what they recommended for me to do. Or I'm going to look into this. The Ecutech boost by gear and see if that. But ultimately, the best thing to do would be able to get a limited slip differential, and then be able to have both tires locking up off the line, and be able to just put the pedal to the ground or to the floorboard, and just apply all the pedal and let the car accelerate faster than trying to back pedal, and not get the wheel spin, and then you're not going as fast. So the limited, that's the whole point of this video, is the limited slip differential is really a got to have, unless you're just playing around and you don't want one. They are terribly expensive, but I'll go into that in more detail. So just trying to get a grip on how this car with this tune is working. So maybe I do a roll here, I can't remember. I mean, it's kind of pointless. You step on the gas and it just immediately climbs up to 7,000 RPMs, and then you got to shift. So you're losing a lot of forward momentum, and it's just messing everything up because you're having a short shift. And so, like I said, if you're just not that kind of person, you don't really care, and you just like to just have a bunch of power, then this is a different story. But for the people that want to have a quick car, and want to win races, and even have more control of your car, then a limited slip differential and going around corners, you'll have to do. I could do a whole video on going into corners and out of corners with a limited slip versus an open diff, and the amount of extra control that you have with a limited slip differential. But it's essential for straight line performance, and for cornering, and it's just going to make the car so much more predictable than this VDC kicking in, and the computer trying to, flip things around and kind of balance the car out. In a perfect world, normal people driving this car, the casual person, this is more than enough, and it's going to be probably likely a little bit quieter. Hopefully, I don't want to make my car any more noisy with a limited slip differential, but I guess, to gain a little bit, you got to sacrifice a little bit, but maybe not. Z1 touts that their limited slip differential is very quiet. So let me see if I get back up here to the next turn, and let's see what happens here. Again, this is good concrete. Just give it a little bit of brake boost. Then I really let off the pedal. Then I get back in it, it just jumps up to $7,000. So kind of difficult to manage with that amount of torque. And I'm assuming the torque down low like that is what's really kicking in. So moving on to what there is out there in the Z1 Motorsports, you've got the AMS version, which is $1,495, and I think that's just the limited slip portion. And AMS is a really kick-ass company, and I know their shit works. So that's $1,500. And then another great company is the Z1 Motorsports, and they don't have any videos. From what I've seen, there is no videos. This is one video, but this guy just talks. And there's no installation, there's no reviews. There's, on this particular car, not a 350, not a 370, on this car, there's no installation, there's no before and after. There's just no content, and that's unfortunate, because I like to watch videos, and I kind of want to see content, and maybe some install, but they offer two packages. They offer, let me get to where they are. They offer a completely built rear end, and that's the option that I would probably do myself, because just buying the buying the internal part takes a lot of skill and knowledge and mechanic background to put that in a car and have it work correctly and reliably. And so I was quoted between $800 or $900 to put that into my car, plus the cost of the I think it's $1,199. I'm not seeing the price right here. Maybe it's down here just lower. But there's two options. So you can buy the put together LSD, and I'm not promoting them. I actually reached out to them and was like, "Man, y'all don't have any videos. Can you point me to some videos?" And I was like, "Man, if you need somebody to make some videos and wants your product and understands the benefit of your differential, I'm your guy." And they just kind of laugh. I mean, they were like, "Yeah, we're not really interested," like most people. And I get it. I'm not a big YouTuber, but I mean, I definitely am preaching the LSD advantage, and I don't see anybody else really doing it. If somebody has the limited slip differential in their car and they're kicking ass at the track, they're not telling anybody. I've seen one YouTube video where a guy's running slicks, serious setup at the track, and he's running in low tens, but he mentions nothing about limited slip differential, and it's a real world drive, and he gained traction, and he touts how fast his car is to the 60 foot. So he most likely 99.5% he has a limited slip differential in there, and he's just not telling everyone, spreading what he has so that other people, I guess, can be racing to get this quarter mile fastest time for Q50 Q60. But yeah, so try to spit this out really quick. This is the option that is put together, and it costs. They got a sale on it right now. It used to be $1,700, and then you've got to ship it both ways, and that's if it's 100 pounds, then you're looking at $150-$200 probably shipping in a crate here to you, and then back to them because you do a refund purchase where you send them for this price your differential so that they can retrofit that one to sell it again, and then they take the diff portion out of that, the open diff, and they weld that shut for the drifter crowd. So it's going to be maybe $2,200 option to do this. So it's not cheap. I have the money to do it. It's just I'm not looking just to throw money away. Right now I'm going to owe a lot of money on my taxes. I earned quite a bit more money this year. Thank goodness our economy is doing really well, and we know who is to give credit for that. But I made a lot more money, but I'm going to owe a lot more in taxes because I'm a contractor, and I pay zero in taxes until the end of the year or the end of the beginning of the new year is when I pay my taxes. So, with that said, so we got and then we got the AMS limited slip rear differential, which is obviously very good, and you can go check all these information out and tells you what it does and the benefits, and they have this on their really fast car, and it's four-wheel drive, and they have it on there. So the all-wheel drive needs it has an open differential, so it definitely needs a limited slip differential. Let me see what else I got. We got the Z1 Motorsports. We've got my video where I'm running my 300 horsepower car stock, and it gets traction, and the VDC helps to manage that. But 430, 40, 50 wheel horsepower, and I think the VDC is out the window. I mean, it's not going to work for you well. So just keep that in mind when you get tuned. I mean, you're going to have a really fun car, and it's going to have a lot of power, and you can chirp the wheels and smoke the wheels at any given time by just downshifting, put it in sport mode, and it's going to be fun in that regards. But it's not going to be as much fun if you're trying to put your power down to the ground so you can run a really, really fast time. So let's see what else I got. Z1. Oh yeah, and I want to give credit out to Speed Culture Studios. He's a Q50 gentleman, and he's not running the 3.0T, so he's running less power, and the power doesn't come on like the 3.0T. So if it was a more broad power, it may not be as big an issue, but when those turbochargers, the twin turbochargers come in, it just drops it all right on there, and the tires just can't handle it. I'm also going to try to get like at least a 265 tire. I'm not real sure what I'm going to do yet. If I'm just going to get all 265 like a Toyo 808008 RR tire that's really good, or go with a specific, maybe a 17-inch rim and go with a taller, more drag type tire and just swap those on the car when I really want to play around, and then just take them off. I have a jack and it's pretty easy to do and it's pretty quick to do. So I'm not real sure what route I'm going to go with my tires, but even I think a one wheel with a 265 or 275 tire with 400 plus horsepower is still going to light the tire up. I mean, it may get a little better traction, but the root of all evil is that open differential. So shout out to Speed Culture Studios. He seems like a really stand-up guy, and we kind of have a similar philosophy.
The term LSD, or the abbreviation, acronym, whatever you want to call it, LSD stands for limited slip differential.
So check out his channel. He definitely goes into some good detail about the car, and I mean the LSD differential and the advantages, and he sees the advantages. But we're on the same page. It's really expensive for casual use. If I was racing this and trying to hit a record to post on YouTube, but I mean it's fun to go fast. So I may end up getting one. It's not going to be immediately unless I just get a wild hair up my butt and then want to do it and make videos. Here we go. We're going to look at the Z1 guys do a little comparison with open diff and closed diff before and after. So this will kind of give you a visual. Let me.
Very good.
Like my video if you found this informative, and you're into the Q50, or you want to buy a Q50, or you want to, thinking about it, or you have one and you want to modify it, all kinds of different scenarios, to come that you came here and looking at this information. But definitely want to get the information out that this car needs a limited slip differential, and they all 3.0 Ts since I think 2016, even the Red Sports, they come with a open differential, and that is kind of a letdown if you want to go fast. Okay, with that said, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you found this video informative. And again, give me a like and subscribe if you want to see some future stuff come up. Thank you.